Hello and welcome back. You're still watching Nile Cruise with Dina Mamdouh and myself, Mohammed Abdel from the premises of the Kulthum Museum at the Ministerial Palace in Mani Al Roda in the heart of Cairo, talking about the month of March. Again, International Women's Day on the 8th of March, Egyptian Women's Day on the 16th of March, Mother's Day on the 21st, and talking about the commemoration of the passing away of one of the great legends of the Arab world, the great voice of all time, greatest, Kulthum, who passed away in this month in 1975. We have the pleasure to introduce to you now a dear guest and expert, and she is a journalist, currently editor-in-chief of a private magazine, and also a lady who worked with Al Ahram newspaper, with the United Nations, with the UNHCR, and along with other great experiences. Thank you very much, Mrs. Hidayat Abdel Nabi, for joining us on Nile Cruise. Thank you.
Thank you for this beautiful introduction.
Thank you.
Mrs. Hidayat, today we're talking about the March, which is the month of women, as Muhammad said. We celebrate the Egyptian Women's Day, and we celebrate Mother's Day. And today we are in front of the museum of Kulthum at the Ministerial Palace. So we need a glimpse about this lady, how she found her way through all the obstacles and through all the traditions that was there at that time.
I think she's a remarkable lady, and if I could say that she is the icon, timeless, and foundation, she said foundation of beautiful Arab music. I think that tradition was an obstacle because she came from a village in Cairo, in Egypt, I mean. And but she was equipped with learning the Holy Quran, and I think this has helped her a lot, even in the way she used to sing, because makharij al-alfaz, the way the words were being said, pronounced. This was due to her expertise in reading the Quran, the Holy Quran. She was very lucky that her father noticed her brilliance, and from there he started pushing her into the arena of performances, small performances, and then she was picked up by the great names in Egypt, who became great names later on with her, and I think they set the tone for Arabic music all over the Arab world, not only Egypt.
Very true. Since you mentioned the beginnings of Kulthum, of course, her father, we know that he was a preacher. He was a mu'adhin in a mosque. So, and when he pushed her in that field. She was commemorating celebrations like Al-Isra and Al-Mi'raj and nights of Ramadan and so on. And we understand that she even dressed as a boy.
Yeah.
Yes. Talk to us about that.
No, it is amazing because, of course, I know Kulthum since I was born, like every Egyptian and Arab. But the thing is, yesterday when I knew that I'm going to come and speak about her, I thought of looking a little bit on the internet about Kulthum, and I found this amazing information that her father dressed her as a boy because he wouldn't like that his daughter in this traditional society comes out singing. So it's amazing how things have changed and how she has become the diva of the Arab world, the beacon of singing and music, and I mean, she is amazing because whatever we say, she has set the tone of elegance in Arabic music and in Arabic performance. Not only that, she has captured the unprecedented audience of more than 100 million people the first Thursday of every month. And this was amazing because this was a unifying force in the Arab world.
It was.
How 100 million people would tune their radios just to sit and listen to Kulthum. This audience, their hearts beated with the songs of Kulthum. There was a link between the heart and soul and Kulthum. It was really wonderful.
Yes.
Okay, if we speak about Kulthum from the patriotic side during the times of war, especially in 1967, she toured the whole Arab world, and even she went abroad to bring money for military in order to help the military to fight against the enemy. So talk to us about this patriotism in Kulthum as a woman and as, of course, Egyptian and Arabic figure.
Well, I think she was a leader in that aspect, because we all remember her performance in Paris, in North Africa, for this reason of collecting funds for renovating the army and etc.
That's post 67 in preparation for 73,
yeah,
right?
post 67,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, preparation for the 73 victory.
And we all remember her famous song that came after 67, Wallah Zaman Ya Silahi. She was amazing in that aspect also, because she was a leader and very patriotic. And her performance, I think, in Paris was the one that nobody can forget. I mean, the people were rushing to the stage, trying to kiss her feet, and it was amazing, the Paris performance for Egypt and for the next war.
Of course, Kulthum had a variety or different styles of songs. She had the religious songs at the beginning, and maybe at other intervals in her career when she was acting. She also had the love songs, the romantic songs, and the patriotic songs, as you mentioned, Dina. And of course, each one of us might have a preference. I mean, we all love all of her songs, but each one of us could have a preference to a certain type of color. So which is your favorite color when it comes to Kulthum?
They're all wonderful songs. I mean, every time I listen to Kulthum, my heart beats with memories of the past. And I suppose every Egyptian has the same feeling, and every Arab has the same feeling. Well, Al-Atlal is of Ibrahim Nagy, The Ruins, would be one of her best songs. Inta Omri with our great musician Abdel would be another song. Fat al-Ma'ad, etc., etc. But I want to remind you something, that one of her songs was the national anthem of Egypt.
Wallah Zaman Ya Silahi.
Yeah. So this was very, very important in her career, that her song became the national anthem. It exemplifies what is Kulthum. In a way, she was Egypt.
She and later on Abdel Halim Hafiz had important, timely songs in the era of Nasser and then Sadat, that all told about the story of what's happening in Egypt, be it the nationalization of the Suez Canal, the fighting against the triple aggression, building the Aswan High Dam, and you name it. So yeah.
It was an era of a lot of nationalism, and I think also the beat of music at the time was a sort of inspiration to the people, that they have a right and they have to get it back. And all the songs were around this theme, that the Egyptians, are great people and will be able to recover land, and etc., etc. So music at the time was, art and music at the time was extremely important in building up the character of the Egyptian.
When we listen to the songs of Kulthum and we see people who are attending the concert, they look good, they dress well, and everything is organized. So when we look back at these days, or when we listen to these songs, are we longing to these days?
Of course, yes.
To Egypt this time, or we just want to remember stories? What do you feel when you hear it?
I like this question. You know why? Because I think it provokes a lot of lessons. Because we should look at this era and gain lessons. Look at the people. Look how they were dressed.
Yes.
How they were dressed and how they really appreciated art and performances, and the elegance of the country. The country was extremely elegant.
Yeah.
We would like to go back to that style of elegance. We don't want, this chaos in traffic, this chaos I don't know where, etc., etc., etc. So I believe you are right. It's an era of lessons. We must look at it. We must start thinking about it. I hope some people will start writing, drawing lessons from the Kulthum era, and telling us that we should go back and think about Egypt and be a little bit jealous about our country. Egypt is one of the most beautiful countries on earth, and by our conduct, we are spoiling it. So we need people to remind us that there was an Egypt which was like Paris. And in this respect, I'd like just to draw your attention that President Charles de Gaulle called Kulthum the lady.
The lady.
The lady. So can you imagine the president of France, and he was the hero of France because of World
he's
War
not
II.
only a president, he's not a normal president.
Yeah, he's the man who got France out of the Hitler era. He says about Kulthum, the lady. Maria Callas said that never again will be there any Kulthum again. She's the only one.
And we haven't seen anything like her since.
Well, she is the only one.
Yeah.
But was she depending on her voice only, or there were other side of her personality that made her to pass through all this?
I think the teamwork was important because she had the best composers, the best songwriters in Egypt, and they were a team that really magnified the strength of Egypt. And in a way, they also set the tone that Egypt is the leader of the Arab world. This team. Because around this team, everything was evolving and revolving, etc., etc., etc. So they also remind us that teamwork is important, and that if we don't apply teamwork in our daily life or in anything else, then we can't make it alone. An individual can't make it alone.
Very true. And what about the relationship between the feminist movement and Kulthum, if there is such a relationship? I mean, of course, feminist movement started even before Kulthum. Kulthum seems to have been there with us all of the time, through the era of radio and then the era of TV, black and white TV, our favorite, the one who brought the concerts you mentioned, where the people dressed well. So, but Kulthum must have had an influence, I guess, on the dreams of Arab women, on the feminist movement, on women getting more rights, and you're a specialist in the area of people's rights. So talk to us about that.
Well, I think that the fact that Kulthum was not a veiled woman on stage is a message. It's a message that a great singer can face the audience, face the world without a veil, which is, of course, the work of Huda Sha'rawi, unveiling the veil in 1919. And we are now celebrating 100 years from the revolution of 1919. So, in a way, I think this is a message.
Mrs. Hidayat, we're going to take a quick break and we'll come back, so please stay tuned.
Okay. Please stay with us. We'll be back to your viewers shortly.